So hello everyone again, and welcome to Book Writing Strategies and How to Easily Be an Author. I have asked everyone who's joining us live who you are, where you're from, and let me know what you're hoping to get out of this masterclass today so that I can answer questions or give you the information that you're looking for. So we have Tazim, who's in Vancouver, Lower Mainland in Vancouver, POCO to be precise, yes? Coquitlam? Yes.
I just wasn't sure who was here, so I didn't want to get too specific.
That's okay. Paula's from Mission, Melanie from Vancouver. Paula is from where, Paula? You can just say it.
Mission?
Mission, awesome. Oh, you said Mission. I read it already. You said you're intrigued with this opportunity of writing as part of an anthology. Great. And Tazim's been co-authored and features in many books, but you also want to learn about the intricacies of becoming a solo published author. Cool. Okay. You can ask whatever you want to ask. I don't have specifics about being a solo published author because I'm teaching you how to easily be an author. And as a solo published author, there are easier ways to do it, and I'm happy to share a little bit more about that. But I'll be straight up that it is not as easy as being in an anthology. So I'll let you know a little bit more of that. And Lisa and Dana are both in Burnaby. Okay, awesome. There we go. So I'm going to dispel the myths that stop many people from writing their first book or their 10th. I'm going to talk about the benefits for you being an author, share how I got through the obstacles, getting some feedback. So if you can just mute yourself, that'd be awesome. I'm going to talk about the strategic and beneficial ways of you being an author. I'm going to have to mute people who haven't. Okay. Good. I'm going to share a great new opportunity for you coming up with Dynamic Women and the benefits for you being part of a book collaboration. But I'm curious, do you want to be an author? If you're here, you're at least interested, or you're already an author and want to do it again. Do you want to build your network? Well, what we're going to talk about is how you can do both and even more. So if you don't even care about building your network, that's okay. I'll talk more about opportunities. So I'm curious, what is stopping you from either already being an author, or what is stopping you from writing another book? And there is someone that is on that is maybe has something over their camera, and I'm not, your name doesn't come up. Could you let me know who that is, please? So if you just joined, I'll unmute you. Hello? So there's someone that has joined but hasn't said who they are. Interesting. They're gone. Okay. So I'm curious, ladies, what is stopping you? So Kat says she started, then she doesn't seem to have the time to finish. That and writer's block. Let's type this in. So writer's block, time. What else? Where to start? Yes, I'm going to talk about that. Meaning like what topic to cover, how to even lay it out, that sort of thing. Paula, you can speak. I'll unmute you.
I think there's a lot of where to start. There's a lot of starting points that seem overwhelming. So topic, how to do it, am I good enough? You know, there's all of those sort of obstacles that throw up a roadblock that, just feel a little bit difficult to jump over when you don't know.
Okay. Yes, true. So time, topic, good enough. Okay, awesome. And narrowing a topic is my message different and unique. There we go. Okay. I'll just move this. There we go. Okay, so we've got lots of different things that are stopping you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a few. Are you going to share the slides? That wasn't the plan, no, Paula, but you can just watch. There's not a lot of content on the slide as much as there is coming from my mouth. And it's not that I'm sharing really intricate formulas, so you don't have to worry about memorizing anything. What I really want for everyone is to be able to, by the end, feel that they maybe are inspired to now write a book, to get past, have some ideas to get past some writer's block or other obstacles that are stopping you, and to give you an opportunity to easily step into the being a published author by sharing an opportunity that I have as well. So I wish that someone did this for me a few years ago when I was trying to write my first book. I sat on that book forever. So what you're talking about with time, Kat, oh, I'm all over that with you. Yes. I sat on my book for probably 6 months to a year. So I'll pull off my shelf here. Dynamic You. The reason why I wanted to write this one was because people kept asking me, well, what's a dynamic woman? Because I run the dynamic women community. What's a dynamic woman? Why? So that's a really great topic to start with is basically what's one question that people ask you all the time? And then rather than telling everybody every single time, write a book about it. The other thing for this was I felt like a dynamic woman had pillars to her, different, hello Christine, different reasons why she was dynamic. And not because she changed herself, but because there were some qualities that she was showing. So with this book, I went through kind of like Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I did the 9 pillars of being a dynamic woman. And so with the point of structure, Kat, that structure for me saying that, I'm guessing for you all, does that help you to kind of understand the book a little bit better? Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is the 9 pillars of being a dynamic woman. Now people are like, oh, they seem to get it a little bit better when I say that. The other thing is, this is a program that I teach in a book. So if you have something that you want to teach, how would you structure progressively the book, the program? And I know some of you have been through the actual program live with me. And so here, I guess, Tazim, are all your little tips on getting your own solo book out. So I thought, if I'm going to teach this, how would I teach it? And so each chapter, each pillar is, this is what the pillar is. These are the problems when you don't follow it. Here are the benefits when you do. And now here's an implementation or a challenge for you to put it into place. And so I followed that structure through each chapter for each pillar. So if you're wondering how to structure something, that's just one style that I did. Now, how did I actually go from writer's block, time, wondering if I'm good enough, where to start, feeling like there are so many personal development books out there, and just really not even wanting to do the actual sitting and writing of a book? Anybody else there? Anybody else just not want to sit and do it? That was me. That was totally me. And so what I realized was that the best way that I work is by being verbal. So just like this. So with you here, I know that you're going to ask me stuff and I'm going to say stuff. And so I actually taught this whole program. Then I transcribed it into a book. And then I wrote the book based on the content that I already had. And I will be putting out another version of it with more stories from women, because there are women clients that were in this book, in the program, that you can follow along and read what they have to say. So I thought, okay, so I'm going to speak it. I'm going to do this. Well, that was an idea I had. And then here's the final trick that helped me to do it. So for anyone that has that writer's block or thinks they don't have time, what ended up happening was I had a women's conference down in Washington want to buy 350 copies of the book by the time and have it for the attendees by the time I went and spoke there. Well, if you need some fire under your butt, have a deadline. So I basically needed to go from, okay, I have no book, but they're buying it from me, to having it in the hands of the women in 90 days. I do not recommend doing it in such a short time frame. It was not always enjoyable. However, or do not do it over Christmas. That was horrible as well. However, I feel so proud that I was able to put the book out and that it has changed a bunch of lives. So wondering where to start, wondering what topic, you have to think, what is it that you really want to put out there? And for me, it was, I want women to know that they're awesome, that they're dynamic, that all they need to do is just to turn the volume up on these different pillars, not to change themselves because they're broken, they need to be fixed. No, just use these tools, increase, put some more effort into, attention into using these pillars. And so are you wondering that your message is different or unique? It will be if you're truthful to what you want to say. I've been listening on Audible to books recently, and I listened to Girl Wash Your Face. And it was crazy when I was listening to it. I'm like, I say that, I do that, I've written about that, I've done videos on that, I train on that. Well, yeah, who comes up with all 100% original ideas? Nobody really, unless you're doing research into something or you coin something. So one person might call it this, and then someone else brings it out. It's this new idea. No, it's not. You just gave it a new name or a new acronym. Just like the morning miracle morning is similar to the power hour, is similar to other people's way of structuring their day. So if you're worried about being unique, put your own spin on it. Share your own stories. No one has your stories. They might be similar stories of tragedy, similar stories of triumph, but they're not your stories in your locations with your people. So please stand in that. It will be unique as long as you are using your own ideas. Does that help with this writer's block time topic, where to start, good enough, message, different, unique, and structure? Anything else there that you would like to know? Okay. Yeah.
How much do you put in? Sometimes I feel like I've got so much to say. Where do you
draw the line?
Yeah.
Start with knowing exactly what the point of the book is. This book, the whole point, unleash your dynamic you. I cut out?
Yeah. I couldn't hear what you said. Start with?
I'm just seeing if I need to mute anybody. We're getting some background noise there. Start with what you want. Basically, when the reader closes the book, what is the one message you want them to have? The one lesson, the one thing you want to either, so inform, persuade, teach, inspire. There's a whole bunch of different things. I look to those types of words when I go to speak. Do I want to inform or persuade or entertain, inspire, motivate? So what's your purpose? So mine was to help women to unleash their dynamic you. It's the secret code to being confident, wealthy, and successful. I do not go into how to schedule your life. I do not go into how to build an awesome business. I don't go into time management. I don't go into all these other things that I teach. I pick one thing. Okay. Unless you wanted to do like the 5 steps to doing, having an awesome life, and they came from all different areas. Right. And maybe do a brain dump of all the other books you want to write. It's just like your programs. But before you do all that, you should be asking yourself, why are you doing the book in the first place? Is it legacy? Because you want to share your story? Is it because you want to use it? Like, what's the intention for the book? Are you using it? This was because people kept saying, what's a dynamic woman? Now I can go, here you are. This is what it is. The other purpose was to have something when I was speaking that people could buy. The other purpose was there are a lot of learners who like to read, not just listen to me on audio, watch me on video, or take a class. They actually want to read the material. Another reason is to get more speaking engagements. And I have a whole list of other things, but also, yeah, I'll wait. I'll get to that slide. Get to the slide. Okay, if you have anything else you want to ask, please just pop it in the chat room because I have it open. I can see it. Okay, so problem number one I hear a lot from people is, what would I say if I wrote a book? And what expertise do I have that would be worth sharing? I do not have a doctorate in how to be dynamic, but I still wrote a book about it. But what expertise do I have? I run a community called Dynamic Women. People think I'm quite dynamic. And what would I say? Well, I said what was important to me. And so you can say what's important to you. So you need to get some great questions. So just for a moment, think about your business or your careers or just in your life and ask these things. Have you ever created a worksheet or a process, a blog or an article? Yes, then you've already written something. You've already been an author of something. This even includes an email to someone, a story. Then you've written something down. Then if you do post on social media, what ideas do you post on there? That's an opportunity for content. Do you find, like Tazim, I know you write a lot about gratitude. So other women, do you write about your faith a lot? Do you write a lot about being a mom, about health? Like, what is it that you write about on social media? And could those be part of a book? 3, what have you learned that you use every day? So see my point? All these things are really good ways to come up with content. So what have you learned that you use every day? Are there different things you talk about? Are there different ways of being that you have? So that's probably part of how Hal Elrod did in The Miracle Morning. He was like, well, what am I doing every day that's helping bring me success? And then people were asking him, and then he put a book together about it. So it leads into the next one. What do people ask you about? Because this needs to be shared. So do you have a story that is worth sharing? People are like, how did you get through that tragedy? How did you learn to walk again? How did you climb Mount Everest? How did you do that? So maybe there's a bigger message from that story. And last, but what successes have you had? You have a story to tell. And you may think like, oh, my life's been pretty, bland, or I've been quite blessed to not have anything crazy happen, or my life is pretty bland in that there's not exciting things that have happened. But I bet you already have stories that you can tell. You just need to start writing them down to figure out where they fit into your life. And I bet you already have the material at the ready. I bet you already have stuff that you have written that you just haven't used in a book yet. So problem number 2, publishing is so hard. I don't think I could figure it out. How do I get published? How many people think this? How many people think like, how would I get published? How could I do this? I don't understand. It's so hard. And I was there too. So I'll just give you, I'm going to get 3 solutions here. The first one is you go through the traditional form of publishing. Get a publishing company. You forward your ideas or your manuscript, and you see if a publishing company will take you on. So you send out a finished book, you send out a chapter, and you see if they'll take you on. Or you maybe already have some sort of platform, or you're famous in some way that if you just went to a company and said, hey, I want to write a book, they might be like, oh, okay, then you'd talk about how to write it and if you would write it or a ghostwriter would write it. So that's always another option too, having a ghostwriter write your book for you. Second is to self-publish by using something like Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, which used to be called Create Space, which is how I published my book. I self-published. Now, what I didn't realize is that if you self-publish, you're responsible for formatting your material, adding your bio and headshot, doing the book layout, editing the book, designing the cover, and then finding a great publisher or printer and submitting the finished book for printing in an actual, like the proper PDF form with all the things. There's even like you need to move on the one side of the page, the text needs to be moved over because the middle of the book, right? You need more space in the middle, because if you don't, then you can't read it because it's tucked in there. And if you try to self-publish and it's not done the right way, they won't let you do it because it looks bad on them. So there was quite a good learning curve there. Even the same with when I had someone formatting it, and every time they sent it to me, the formatting would be different because we had different versions of the software. So in the end, there I am at 2 a.m. in the morning, formatting my own book. Yay, but it got done. So, or a solution, which is what I mentioned before, you can join an anthology and have someone else do it all for you. So here's the good news. I've got you covered. Now, to be clear, I'm not a publishing company. Yes, I've published a book myself, but I'm not a publishing company. But I have a solution for you so that you can easily be a published author. So my team and I have now ironed out all of the kinks. We figured out how to do it. And since we're covering all the details, it's going to be a breeze for you. So if once you decide you want to be part of the anthology, all you do is submit your material and you're like, I'm done. And I take it from there. So that's the exciting part of that, is your first book or your 10th book could be that easy. Problem number 3 comes up when people say writing a book takes such a long time and I don't know how it would fit into my already busy life. Anybody busy? Yes? Super busy? Yeah, and what's really funny is sometimes my team members say to me, Diane, I don't know how you do it because you do so much. And I'm thinking, oh man, this is before I had people on my team. I still did all this. So we're all busy. And writing a book can take a lot of time. Depends on the format you use, and it depends on how much content you are responsible for. So the Dynamic Women's Success Anthology that you could be part of, it requires each contributor to put together between 400 to 600 words with a bio for their contribution. Who can write 400 to 600 words? Okay, 3 of you. That's kind of scary. So if you've ever written an email that you had to scroll once through, then you have written the amount of words. So it's probably what's on the screen right now, maybe times 3 or 4. One concept, one story, one set of tips, set. Plus, the cool thing is you could already have the content that you haven't used anywhere else, that it was maybe a journal entry. Kat says, I've written Facebook posts longer than 600 words. Yeah, not Twitter, but yes, Facebook for sure. You probably have. And if you think of Twitter, 140 characters, I don't know, is that like 20 words? If you took a whole bunch of Twitter posts that made sense to be a whole bunch of tips and then wrote a little bit about them to tie them together, that also could be you using content that you have. So you possibly have, like I was saying, journal entries, diary entries, blogs that have never been posted that are all ready to go. You just need to maybe put a little bit more attention on it so that it would be worthy of popping in an anthology. So the Dynamic Women's Success Anthology, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But I'm curious, what do you want to know and what do you need to know? So please type it in or put your hands up. So I put a few things that I've been asked before: editing, word count, theme. You can either type it in or just unmute yourself and say what it is. What else do you want to know?
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
So with doing the anthology style, would you provide some editors to whip our writing into shape?
So editing, yep, I'm going to talk about that. Brilliant. What else? Timeline, thank you. What else are you curious about? What do you need to know? What do you want to know? Because I'll tell you both. Okay. Oh, someone said verbal diarrhea. I will read that. Just give me one sec. Okay. Is this the one? Nope. I'm just going to show you an example of an anthology that I have been a part of. It's hiding. Hold on. So it happens when I attempt to clean up and do a good job at it. Okay. How do you prevent verbal diarrhea? Oh, yeah. Is that how you spell diarrhea? I have no idea. I'm going with what you wrote, Kat. Let's see. Yeah, nice. You don't need an editor, apparently. Nope. Okay, maybe you do. That's okay. Whatever it is, I am not a good speller. That's why having editors is awesome. Okay, good. Let me give you a quick kind of rundown of these. If you have anything else that comes up, please let me know. Editing, yes, we have an editor, and because anything I put out there, I want to have like the seal of approval that it is high quality, that there are no errors. So there will be an editor to read it over for grammar, for spelling, and for like generally it just makes sense to read it. There's nothing confusing. There's no major run-on sentences. If you need anything beyond that, I do have an editor who you can purchase time from her to actually go through it if you're kind of concerned or curious or have questions, that she can help you with that. Word count, we are looking at 200 words for the story or your tips and 200 words for the bio. You can kind of have them blend into each other, and we've had a few of the women request for more pages and more words. And so then we can talk about having, you add that in. The theme is success. So this is the first anthology of many. This one is around success. I'll tell you a little bit more about that after. Timeline, we are looking at a spring launch. So we're wanting a timeline of anyone coming in right now, about 4 weeks. That we found makes it very doable. Verbal diarrhea, getting your actual message right. When you think of one message, one topic, we don't care about spelling, Kat. I have many years ago, I gave up caring, because I know that when I teach in front of people, I'm going to write the wrong words and whatever. I let it go. So one message, one theme, one lesson, one moral of the story, one intention. If you keep it to the one plus your word count, it's very concise. There's no space actually for verbal diarrhea unless you just don't even have one single point, one single message, and you just run on.
Sorry, Diane, it's Paula here. I just wanted to clarify that word count. Did you, and I was making some notes as you were speaking, but did you say 200 words and then 200 for the bio? So 400 altogether?
Let me give you
That's a succinct message.
It is. And I like your word choice there. So let me show you mine as part of the last book I was part of. So here, what did I write about? I wrote about being dynamic, the secret code to being confident, wealthy, and successful women. Oh, what does that sound like? My book. So if you can see that, that's 200 words.
Yeah.
Next page. My story went over to the next page because it didn't all fit. And then my headshot and my bio. I used every last sentence space on that page. So there is an opportunity to have 400 words, 600 words plus your bio. Yes, Melanie is very, very short. Now, why do short stories in an anthology? The goal for us is 52. Anybody have an idea of why 52? One a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one a week.
Or you can read the book in 52 days. You read one a day. So that's going to be part of how we kind of market the book. Or we keep it down to 30 and then it's even less for one a day for a month. We want the idea to be that you can quickly pick that up in the morning, read it, and have that be kind of your fuel for the day. Have that be something, or for the week, that gets you educated or inspired or informed. And so we find that I found when I read something small, I have time to digest it. I'm not whipping through. I'm not missing pages. I have my one thing to read. And then because the story, then the bio, where I've seen other times it's a whole bunch of stories and then bios at the end, people won't get to the bios. But when you have story and bio, people like to read it as a package. So for me, that was a jumping point to people then looking towards my book. That was the idea behind that one. And then on the back, you can see a bunch of images of the authors that are in the book. So let me go through some other reasons why this anthology, what makes this anthology, or really any anthology, great. Collaboration. So you and me are going to collaborate, and you're going to collaborate with my team. You're also going to collaborate with each other to make this happen. So currently we have 23 women on the West Coast, 14 women on the East Coast, and 2 women in the States. So we're looking at having kind of an assortment of women to be collaborating with. And what would be the benefit of that for you? Any reason? You can just speak.
You get to grow your network.
Grow your network. Melanie says geographical reach. Yeah. So the book then will be purchased and used in these other areas by other people. You also can now connect with women in other areas, because this is a book by women, probably for women. Men are more than welcome to read it, but I'm guessing it will attract women. Kat says exposure, very true. Yeah, more people. Okay, next, it's done for you. So that big list of things where I said you've got to do the layout and you've got to edit and you've got to put it all in the book and then you've got to get it up on these different places and you got to have it printed, done for you. You just do the writing. You do the part that's important to you and we take care of the rest. The next thing is you get to learn and inspire. You get to learn about the process a little bit, and then you get to inspire others with your story or with your tips. You will have a book published in 2019. So before you got on this call, you thought, you maybe didn't even think that that would be possible. Like, oh my gosh, I'll be an author in 2019. That's amazing. Or maybe for years and years and years, you've been thinking about being an author, and you know that in the next 6 months, you're going to have a book in hand with your face on it and with your story or your tips inside. Plus, we're going to have a strategy call. Many anthologies that I've seen be put out there, people just say, okay, here's your deadline, submit it, and you don't get any help with strategy. You don't get any feedback, nothing. Nothing is given. It's just submit your story. No, they don't even edit it. They just throw it in and then they bang it out and it's done. My feeling is not of that. My feeling is that if you're going to be doing this, that we need to have it boomerang out and come back to you, whatever you are looking for. So I'll kind of go through that a little bit and let you know what the strategy could be. You might just want to have it be your legacy, and that's great, but there are more opportunities here. So why would you want to be part of this book? That's what you have to ask yourself first. Is it a personal reason? I've just always wanted to be an author, or I really want to inspire people by my story? Or is it business reason? Is it to sell at the back of the room? Is it to be an expert? I'll give you some more ideas on what it could be. So let me just first ask, personal business. How many people personal? No, 2.5. Okay. And how many business? Okay, Christine, I don't think I saw your hand. You don't know. Okay, cool. Let me give you some ideas. Hopefully business. Yes, Paula, hopefully business and personal. Cool. So here's why, here are some reasons to be part of this book. You can learn from one another. Credibility. I'm a published author. Being an authority. So I'm an authority on being a dynamic woman. Whatever it is that you want to be an authority on. It can also be just for yourself, for your journey, or so that others learn your journey. It could validate who you are. It could help you to level up in business. It can be for speaking and exposure. Some people have reached out to me because I've written a book and have offered me speaking engagements and exposure to more audiences, more people, which then brings it back to potentially for business or even for personal. If you wanted to share a powerful story, then being interviewed to share that story even more. And then share experiences and have a ripple effect. So your story can impact and inspire or give tips to others. So what are the benefits or the reasons for doing this? One is leads. And that, actually, Tazim, that's the back of your head. So leads, this could be getting you clients. Part of also why I wanted to do the book was to make it accessible for everyone. If I sell it for $20, that is in, I would say, most people's budget, but maybe hiring me one-on-one isn't. But maybe someone wants to just get like, what's this person all about? Like, what are you all about? And so they'll maybe just buy your book to start with, but it could bring potential leads. Another thing is, let's say you meet someone somewhere and you like them. This could now be your business card. You know what? I just happen to have this in my bag. Would you like one of my books? You pull it out, you sign it, autograph it for them, and then you hand it to them. Now you are, on their desk. Your story, your tips are right there. Another thing is speaking. I talked about that already, but you can now speak on whatever story or tips that you're putting in. You might get clients or customers from it. So they might read your story, they might read your tips, and then look at your bio and be like, wow, this person's pretty cool. I'm going to reach out to them. Or, wow, I really relate to them. Or they have really good tips, so I'm going to reach out to them. Or I'm going to go check out their website, because your social media links, your website, your other handles can be on there as well, which a lot of them, if you see some of these other anthologies, they will not allow you to do that. But my feeling is if someone's inspired by you, if someone would like to reach out to you, even just to say, thank you for sharing your story, I'd like to make it easy for them to not have to go on a wild goose chase to try and find you now, or find the right person with your name. It also puts you as an expert on whatever topic is, because now you can say you have been published writing about X topic. So it might be education, it might be health and fitness, it might be being a successful woman in a male-dominated industry. Also financial gain. When you sell the books, you can make money from it. So a lot of the anthologies that are put out, the person putting it together gets all the financial gain, because you need to buy copies at full retail value. That is not the case here. You will be able to buy it at a wholesale rate so that you can make money off of selling the books. You should. You're selling them. Plus, you can then, if you do get leads and clients, customers, speaking engagements, exposure, whatever else, you can have financial gain. And I just threw this picture up there because that is my family. And what financial gain means for me is more time with my family. So because I've been moving up, I've been able to hire people to do things, even like just clean my house. Like that's the most amazing thing, have someone clean my house. And I've hired a single mom, and she's working hard, and I just totally adore and appreciate her. And she's making money, and so now she's moving up. So it just like helps everybody out, and helps my marriage that I'm not fighting about the cleaning of the house. So it's all these things that can come from really any opportunity, not just the book, but any opportunity in life that moves you forward. So what will you write about? This is one of the biggest questions that people ask. Well, what do I write about? And if this is about, I only have this many words, like what's the one message? Oh my gosh. Well, write down a success story that you've had. Write down some success tips that you've had. And it can even be something like, people keep saying I'm really successful at organizing things at work, or organizing my house, or organizing dinner parties, or organizing children's birthdays. So maybe organizing comes up. So tell a story about how you successfully organize something. Give 5 tips to being successful at organizing. And I only chose organizing. You can choose any quality like creativity, leadership, and how to be successful at that. Or you can just go straight in for when was I successful? I might share a story about how I climbed Mount Fuji in a typhoon. You're going to share about the obstacles and then the success. And please don't think it has to be just a positive story. Someone that's close to me in my life, she just got through, or has had to work through, her husband dying of cancer and being in a hospice with him for 2 months. Sadly, he's passed away, but maybe there's some success tips through this experience. So don't think it just has to be in the positive. It could be something that's been traumatic or challenging in your life. So here are some very specific things to think about. Write about a time when you struggled and the success tool you used to get through it, or the message that you learned. So the message could be, we've had a story around a single mom. And it could be that she is just as powerful on her own as with someone else. Share a favorite personal success quote that you live by. It could be your quote. It could be someone else's quote. We just have to make sure that we give kudos to whoever's quote it is. And then share how that's changed your life. One of my favorite quotes is the Jim Rohn quote, "You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Man, that just like smacks me in the face every time I'm having a challenge with somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, their negativity. Do I want to be the average of their negativity? No. So that for me has really changed my life. You probably have ones that you live by. What are some success tips for your industry or a topic that you're an expert in? And it could even be like meal prep. You're an expert in meal prep. Well, how? How are you good at that? I know so many moms and women in general that just struggle with that. What is a success story that you had that would help others? So my son broke his femur. How did I get through that? Man, the support of my community, for sure. And one of the biggest tips in there, say yes when people offer you a meal train. People bring you meals every day. Like, I think I cried more from the outpouring of love from meals being dropped off at my house every night than I did from like the hardship of that situation. And what is something you have learned about success? So maybe you've learned success comes in 3s. Maybe you've learned success can be easy. I don't know. Maybe you've learned success happens between the hours of 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. Because you work a job. And so then that's when you're doing your side hustle, or that's when you're elevating yourself. And what is something that can bring people success? So is it waking up early? You know, it's a concept that's been around for a long time, but maybe the way you do it is different, or will reach people in a different way because of who you are. So let's make our book a success. This is a mock-up of the book, of my book. But you, as part of the anthology, would get a mock-up of the book that we're putting out. So this is, I'll just show this first. These are a couple not even mock-ups. These are a couple of pre-designs of the book. So Dynamic Women's Success, top thought leaders, experts, and dynamic women share their stories and tips on success. And then at the top, we are going to have a testimonial from someone who is influential. And I'm working on that right now. This is an example of the announcement image. This is Nicole Kernahan. She is out in Ontario, and she is a collaborative author in the 2019 launch of Dynamic Women's Success. And then we have the URL there, and I'm just working on finalizing that. So if you go there, you're not going to see anything, but it's coming. So right now we've got about 10 minutes left. I said that this would be an hour. What questions do you have? What questions does this leave you with? What would you really like to know? You can speak. Maybe I've answered all the questions. What do we pay to play? Oh, yes. Good question, because I didn't make a slide about that, Melanie, so thank you. A lot of what I shared in here is what I shared when I was talking to the people who were already part of the collaboration. So thank you for asking that. A lot of times when I've heard of anthologies and being part of them, it can be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. My feeling is it is important that people are given the opportunity to be part of this. And I feel that it is, as the leader of Dynamic Women, the Global Club, as a coach of women, as a speaker to women's audiences, I hear stories from women all the time and learn tips from people all the time that need to be out there. So the pay to play, I like how you said that, is $497 plus GST, because I got to pay the big guy what he's supposed to get. So $497. And what does that get you? It gets you the ability to hand over your bit of writing, your bio, your headshot, and then go, done. Editing was provided. We're going to do all the layout, not just the layout inside the book, the layout of the cover, the layout of all the images, the layout of all the table of contents, and all the other fine, wonderful, exciting things that you got to figure out, like the copyright page, what that needs to look like, and the table page, like the title page, everything. I'm also going to be getting testimonials for the book. So I get all those joys, or my team get all those joys, and you get to just walk out. Paula, what do you anticipate the wholesale cost? So I'm working really, really hard on that right now. We're going to have a couple of options. One is soft cover, which keeps the cost down, or hardcover, which has a slightly higher quality feel to it, right? It's hardcover, which then means you can up the price more. So I'm having a hard time in Canada finding a well-priced hardcover printer. I'm still on the hunt. There will be no more than $10 a copy, including shipping. That's my goal, no more than. So if you imagine you sell them for 20, or you could sell them for 25, that, what, do the math. You sell 50, you've covered your cost to be in the book. And I'm sure you can already list off 10 to 20 people in your immediate circle who would buy a copy from you because they're like your mom and your sister and your best friend and that sort of thing. And then there's other strategy, and then you also get the strategy call with me, where I'm going to help you to think about, what message do I want to put out there? I have these two stories. Which one's best for what I want? because what I really want for you, it is a group call, Tazim, yeah, because I find I get the same questions with people. And one call with me is over $350. And so I would be in the hole if I was offering this for $497, then you also got an individual call. So thank you for clarifying that though. And then in that call, we can talk about how you can put something out to position you to bring stuff back, whatever that may be. Speaking engagement, clients, leads, interviews on a podcast. Melanie, Lisa, and Dana, what's that about? You were saying their names. No, you didn't mean to. Nothing. Okay. Sure. I won't worry about it. What else? And then we get to decide whether we want to do a West, because I think everybody on here right now is West Coast. If we want to do it, we'll be doing a West Coast book launch party where you can have your people come and they can get autographs from at least the West Coast ladies who are going to be attending. Any other questions? Feel free to keep asking. So if you want to be chosen, then email me. I'm not doing a flashy landing page or anything like that because this has only, up until this point, been an invitation to clients of mine. But I know that there are women in my circle and women who open my emails. Thank you. Mwah to you, opening my emails, who have a story to tell. So if you believe that you have a story about success that you want to tell or tips about success that you want to share, then what I would love for you to do is email me what makes you want to be part of this book. And if you're just like, because I think it'll help my business, cool. Or I've always wanted to be an author, or I have a powerful story that needs to be told, great. The second thing, share if you want to write a success story or tips, and if you have any ideas. If you don't have ideas and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't apply because I don't have ideas, that's okay. We can figure it out. Don't worry about that. I've had clients of mine who got to be part of this were so freaked out by what they wanted to write about and didn't want to apply. And then we talked, and my gosh, the powerful stories. The one woman is dyslexic, and she is like, so crazy how I can't like get through things and I constantly have trouble. And I was like, that is the most amazing story of how you got through that and how you're successful in your life right now. And she was like, I didn't think of that. So she was looking at how she had a hardship and that she's like, I can't write a book because I'm dyslexic, and how that actually became what she's going to write about. And I gave her a few tips on how to do it to help her do it with what she perceives as her limitations. And then 3, if you have a website, I'd love to check it out. So share it with me. And share your social media with me, I'd love to see. So that's where we're at. Deadline to Zim for submission. So this oh, someone's asking a question.
Oh, sorry, Diane.
Go ahead, Paula.
Yeah. I clearly can't write and listen at the same time.
That's okay.
So in the sharing piece on success story or tips, just a quick sort of summary of what we wanted to share. Is it tips, or is it just a little piece of story about overcoming imposter syndrome or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Just a quick hit on it so you know the topic. Okay.
Yeah, and if you don't know, just say, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Because when we jump on that strategy call, that helped a lot of people to be like, oh my gosh, that's it. Now I feel happy. Now I know. I don't want that to be the thing that holds you back. So deadline for application to be part of it is Friday. So that's only the email that says, hey, Diane, I want to be part of this. The reason for that is because by Monday, I want to be sending a congratulations email out to those who have been selected. And the only reason why you might not be selected is there could be something that is just not in alignment with the dynamic women values. And so that's my way of covering my butt with someone who's not a fit. Because, you know, the book obviously is not going to be having anything that is going to be racist or anything that's hurtful or anything like that. So by Friday, if people apply, then the kind of next steps will be I'll be sending out the invoice for it so that can be covered. And then you'll get an email that says, okay, so now I need these things from you by these dates. Just a heads up, this is what I need. This is when our strategy call will be. And then you'll still have a couple of weeks to put it all together. But right away, you'll be able to send in a headshot and send in these things. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a headshot, you can figure it out. You know, find a blank wall and get a friend with a good camera. Just take a picture of you. Please do not submit any photos of you like holding on to a friend or swigging some champagne or something like that. It's not really appropriate. We want to highlight you. Okay, and then it'll be about 4 weeks because we already have a group of women whose stories have been submitted, edited. They're already in the layout. We have the Ontario women who are in the process right now of submitting. And so I really don't want to hold up the women who are already in it from their book being out in like spring, summer. It just depends on publishing because we're aiming to have a cheaper publisher. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. You're welcome, Tazim. So today's masterclass was on book writing strategies and how to easily be an author. So I've given you one option to easily be an author. I also shared my story, how to easily be an author of a solo book. Also some strategies on how to come up with your different topics, and strategies on how to structure a book and how to structure a piece in an anthology. So I appreciate all of you coming here. You are welcome, Paula, for the information and the opportunity. And just want to let you all know that you are dynamic women and you have an invitation now to be part of this anthology, to be part of the very first Dynamic Women anthology, which is pretty cool, and a chance to be a published author in 2019. So if I hear from you, wonderful. If I don't, please know that you're still welcome to open my emails and come out to a Dynamic Women event. And I just wish you all so much success in 2019. And I hope to be on that journey with you. So I'll give you a mwah. Mwah. Goodbye, everyone. I will just stop sharing here so we can all see each other. Goodbye and have a great week.
Thank you.